how does it feel in my body to have really amazing, great sex? It's a blueprint. It's something that is influencing your psychology.
We can start to develop more identifying why we have these feelings, which is the shadow of this behavior.
Yeah, totally. This is one of the biggest complaints or the reason why people come, which is to empower people to have better sex.
Exactly.
Women.
You took the words from my mouth.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel. This is another episode from Playa Rocky. And today I have the pleasure to be with Virginie Aimard. Aimard. Can you?
Virginie Aimard.
Okay, then you get it. So welcome, Virginie. Thank you so much for coming to share your time with me. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Virginie, it's a pleasure for me. So please, I would like to let you introduce yourself a little bit, because I will be short if I do that. So please, can you tell us a little bit, to everyone who is listening this, what do you do and why you're here?
Yes. So first of all, it's an honor to be here and to have the opportunity to talk about a subject that is a passion for me, which is to empower people to have better sex.
Okay.
Yes. What I wish for the world, and is especially for women, because I work mainly with women and also with couples, because sometimes you have partner you want to make it work with, but especially women, that's my specialty, is to allow people to feel their body and to feel this, what I call the orgasmic energy in their body. So I'm going to talk about it more, but this is what I do. I haven't done that all my life. I was doing many other things before. Actually, I have a PhD in education, and my specialty is to teach in languages. So I trained in didactics of languages, which is another way. You can say it's actually a continuation of that, because as I will explain today, the erotic world is also kind of a world of different languages, and we learn to teach to speak these languages with our bodies.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely the sex is a language, and as I told you out of the podcast, I mean, like, you're gonna rise up my rating with this, because for me, I mean, like, let's gonna start. To jump on this a little bit, I would like to ask you a little bit more about what is this orgasmic energy that you are talking about?
Yeah. So what orgasmic energy means, the generative, creative, the life force that you have in you. That this is the energy of life, of being happy, of being joyful, of being vibrant, of being in the world with this desire to create, to be, to interact with the world, with other people. This is an energy that you can feel sometimes when you're in nature. Also, when you're on your own and you feel good and you feel like this is like the world is great, and you have all these ideas and you have all this passion in you. So for me, orgasmic energy is not only related to sex. It's also can be part, and hopefully that's my wish for everybody, that this energy is part of the sex and the sexuality. But it's not only that. It's a very profound and actually the essence of who we are as human being. We have this energy in ourselves. We have it. It's just like sometimes we lose the access to it, or we have it, the impression that we don't have it, but it's always there. It's just.
So, I would like to ask you. So, do you help to the people to wake up this energy on themselves? Because I understand when you say then it's inside of all of us, and it's not related just for a sexual aspect. Because well, talking a little bit about the chakras is the second chakra. I think is like the second chakra is the sexual energy, and is related to life. So that's where we come from.
Yeah, in the tradition of the, let's say the ancient Indian tradition, that from where the yoga, the Ayurveda, all these things are based on. We talk about the 7 main chakras.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the second chakra, which is the sacral. The sacral is associated actually with water and with creativity.
Really?
So the
second
same
one?
chakra, yeah, that's related to our sexual energy, is the one that is linked to the expression in the world and the creativity. I mean, expression, not exactly, because this is the throat chakra. But
Okay.
this one is also how you let things in the world, you create things in the world.
When someone seek for your service, is this person, male, female, or couple, looking to wake up this energy for you, or what's the main, reason why the people get close to you and ask for your professional coaching, as a erotic coaching, sexual coaching?
So first, that's a very good question, because behind this question is actually the fact that we live in society with a big paradox. And the biggest paradox is that sex is present everywhere, is used in advertisement, is used in, like, there is a hyper-sexualization of our society. It's so present everywhere. So we are like kind of immersed and submerged in this kind of culture that sex is everywhere. But in reality, what's happening in the bedroom is often very different from what is depicted in movies and films and everywhere. So there's like a discrepancy, like a difference. And that's why when something is not working well in your sexuality, in your expression, and I will maybe try to make the difference. There are different terms like erotic, sexuality, sex, and this. But like if something in your sexual expression, like in the way you experience sex in your life, is not super working, the tendency is not to talk about it. The tendency is to think there's something wrong in you, because the appearance of society makes you believe that everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you feel like unsatisfied, if you feel like it's not that great, and like it should be great, like or maybe it's good, I don't know, but it doesn't feel like. So if there is like it's a dissonance between your experience and what the world is telling you, it makes you feel like you cave in, you go inside, and you're like, okay, that's the way it should be. And many people, and especially women, because this is the group I work more with, but some men also, but so people go inside and then give up in a way. They give up the idea of that it could be better.
Okay.
Because they don't. Why? Because we don't talk about it. Because there is not a culture of that's something that can be learned. So I want to say something that's like, if I ask your audience and I ask what kind of sex education did you get when you were a kid? when you were younger, or not a kid maybe, but adolescent, teenager, later on, you know?
Like, yeah, like the outside education, like what I saw in paper news
Well,
or
all kinds.
yeah.
And so people would say, usually would answer this question by saying, I didn't really have a proper sex education, or the sex education we got from maybe at special school education, or sometimes they do it in other way. It's to tell you what you should not do. You should not get pregnant. You should not have sex without a condom. You should be careful not to get this disease, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of negative talks about sex and about the danger of sex, which also is justified in some reason. Of course, you have to be careful, and of course you have to be, but the constructive, positive sex talk, the one that are not about porn, like really about grown-up adults wanting to have a healthy sexual life, like a sexual life that works well for them, that makes them happy, that connects them to their partners, these kind of things. This is where we have less of these conversations. And that's why I'm super happy to be with you today, and that you are bold enough and courageous enough to interview me about this topic, because this is what the world needs more, and needs more of conversation that are not making them feel bad, but on the contrary. That's why I said empower. It's to make people feel, oh, I have the tools, I have possibilities, I have new things I can change my way of thinking and seeing things and doing things, so that it's even better, right?
Yeah, actually, well, as you said, yeah, it took me a little bit of courage to record this podcast because, I mean, like, it's not because I don't want get sex education, because as you said, I think mostly the people in the world have that kind of orientation, like external orientation, and based on that imagine of, you know, like the triple X movies. And right now, you touch a very interesting point for me, because you say then outside looks like everyone have like a healthy and the best sex life ever, because everything is hyper sexualized, right? But you say in your experience as a coach, therapist, is the positive. And that makes me, you know, like I'm a single person, so I think this is for couples, but it makes me feel like I think it's totally right. And also you say that mostly of the people who seek for your service are women, isn't it?
Right. And like I have to tell, I was looking at this statistic today. Actually, 70% of all the people in the world who seek coaching are women. So in general, yeah, more women are looking for to be coached than men. So okay, by essence, but of course, I have sometimes people asking me. It's not like but I think there is a specificity for women to look at themselves, because they want to feel empowered and achieve something in their life. They want to feel, the word is coming in French, épanoui, which means blossoming. They want to feel their personality is developing, and that they want to be as a human being living the highest purpose, living like fully expressed. Yeah. So more and more women want to have that, and so they are succeeding maybe in their work. They have a career, they are succeeding in their relationships even. They might be married to a person they love and they have a great relationship. But sometimes they are single and they are looking to find themselves. But the common ground usually is this lack of awareness or like how does it feel in my body to have really amazing, great sex? Like, I don't even know because I feel disconnected from my body, or I feel numb, or I feel not so much. It's okay. It's okay, but it's not that great. So they feel that there is like a possibility of more. Like it could be much, much more than that. But they don't know how to access that, who to talk to, how to do it, like where to go.
So would you say then this exploring from themselves, inner exploring,
Yeah.
is connected with the personal development?
Yeah.
With the personal development?
Yes, exactly. For me, it is connected. Some people think maybe it's just an area of their life that is separate, kind of. That's why this is the main problem. I don't know how to say it in proper English, but it's like a compartmentalization. It's a separate compartment in their life. Like, this is my life, this is the whole thing, and this is sex. It's a little compartment, it's separated. And then they tend to isolate this part because the rest is working well. It's perfect. They have great lives. They achieve many things.
Yeah.
So what I think, which is like a little different from what most people, is like it's part of personal development. It's part of your development. It's part of your expression in your life, the achievement of you, the development of your whole being.
It's very, I feel afraid. I feel, with these statistics that you say, that the 70% in general of people looking for coaching are women.
Yeah.
So that makes me think right now that who are really interested in personal develop are women, and not men. And for me, as men, it's like, where are you guys?
You're part of the small percentage of men that are also looking for. Yeah, you are. And it's great. I think more and more men are willing to go that route. The men who are coming to me in the coaching, this specific area, are usually the one that love their partner so much. They really want to have like a good connection to their partner, and they feel that this area is not really working. The physical relationship, the sexual relationship is not really working, and they want their partner to be happy. They want their partner to feel loved. They want their partner to share the beauty of this physical connection with them. So there are men who are I'm happy. I'm just like, there's a hope. It's like not, but there are men who are interested in looking at that. And they're also the awareness, both men and women, that there is a possibility to improve this area. It's not like because it's not working well or it hasn't worked for you, maybe your whole life, maybe you feel like it's just like getting by, but it's okay. And you've just, made yourself like feel like, okay, that's the way it should be now. It's just like that, but even that, like this little part of, in you that says, no, we should not just settle for it. It's just like, there's so much more available. There's so much more possible. And as you said, that's why I want to talk about it today. It's like when your erotic energy, your sexual energies are expressed, they are free to flow. They are present in your life. You are confident. You feel power. You feel really good, right? And everybody can relate. Like most probably, and I hope for you it's the case, you had an experience in your life where you had great physical connection with somebody or with yourself, and after that you felt like, oh, I'm the king of the world, or I'm the queen of the world. I'm like, oh my God, life is so great. And you go out and then in the street and you feel like, oh my God, you have all this energy like coming out of you, and do you feel good inside? And you will realize these days, this particular day where you have access to this energy, how magnetic you are for other people, how much you attract people in your life, and like people turn their head around, like I say, who is that? You know, like who is this person? Like, so I think it's not a small compartment isolated in your life, and it shouldn't be something you think like, okay, when I'm finished to do all my other things, I will think about sorting out my sex issues. No, it's like essential for you in your life in order to feel this vibration in you, to in order to feel like, whoa, yes, everything is available to me. I can do anything. I can manage this project. I can do these things new, and you know, this confidence you can have in yourself, and this this energy of everything is available.
No,
Right?
I understand. I'm gonna tell you my observations about this. It's totally true. It's totally true. When you have this experience, you know, physical connection and intimacy connection. I'm gonna leave it in that word, intimacy connection. It feels like, yeah, you feel great, and as you say, no, you feel the king or the queen, and it blooms. It like it's like something that you are expressing without say anything, right? And but particularly, I can see then that is more. I can observe that more in women than in men. And I'm gonna tell you something as a man. For me, I mean, as you say, because I want to ask you something, but before to jump to this question, me as man, I mean, like I'm a young man. I mean, like in comparison, well, in the and the average the average life timeline, I think I'm a young man. I feel like young, but between the man is growing up, for us we have to take care more about our energy. And I'm telling you, because yeah, you know, that make you when you have this experience, I don't know if that's the word in English, like you feel vigorized, like testosterone, like I can do everything, like a bull, right? And that feels so good. It feels so great. When I had that feeling, because I had it, as you say, I can do anything. But with the pass of the time, reach or keep that level of energy for the men's when we are going mature, it starts to be a little bit more complicated, and we have to take care more about this energy. Because I can say that when I was probably, I mean, now I'm in my 30s, and when I was in my 20s, and I feel like, I can do everything. I can do it every day, and I can spend all day long here. But now, for me, I have more like balance between this, and for me, this is the question that I would like to ask you. Would you say, based on your experience, that the most common complaint between partners in the intimacy is this lack of energy? I mean, like, because you also was saying that the development, when a couple are together and someone wants more, be more satisfied, have more things, but the other one is not, like, it's hold you down, keep you down. So would you say this is a problem? Don't develop yourself as if this became a problem into intimacy, partner intimacy.
Yeah, totally. This is one of the biggest complaints, or the reason why people come, because they feel like one likes to have more of this intimate connection, and the other partner is like want to avoid it, or it feels like putting the brakes, like don't want to have so much?
Sorry for interrupt you. Do you think this is because the age, as I'm telling you? I mean, like when the man is getting old, do you think that's connected with this problem of intimacy?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so at all. No, I really don't think so. I think that what you're talking about might be linked. I'm not sure exactly, but of course you have a vitality and you have a certain way to go about things. Maybe you can do more push-ups and more, I don't know, kind of like physical exertion when you are younger than when you are more. But when it comes to sex, we're talking about physical intimacy, intimate connection. That's a different story. And I think that people confuse a little bit the energy, that maybe I just say this word and then I want to talk about the libido, the difference of libido. What people think sex is and what I'm talking about. So one question is, am I using more energy than I'm getting more energy? Like, it's like, what makes a person feel like they are using up their energy, their tank. Let's imagine it's a tank, right? Yeah. And you have a tank of energy and like you can refill the tank or you can empty the tank, right? Mm-hmm. So according to the activities you do during the day, some activities, including talking to some people or being with some people, might be depleting your tank, and some other might be giving you more in your tank. So I think that the confusion that comes for many people is, for example, being sexy. So what I'm talking about is not like some people do, like feel, I don't know, it's like a performance. They want to appear sexual or sexy. Like women also do that, men also do that, but women do a lot of using up energy to appear sexy, to appear as a sexual being. And instead of getting energy, they use energy. Okay. Because it requires more energy, because it's like you're inside, you're not aligned with what is true for you. So you use kind of compensation to appear like a super sexual being, like part of the world. Like we said, like in order to appear in this world, you see that half naked people going on a yacht and going, and party. I don't know. But it's not like what I'm talking about when you feel really the true physical connection, and when you are in touch with your erotic blueprint. We are going to talk about it. When you are really in touch with who you are as a being, it's not a doing, it's a being. So you don't use up energy, you gain more energy. You gain it. You have more energy. If you are in touch with who you are as an erotic being, if you are true to yourself, this is what I want people to learn, and also this is my journey. I can talk about it a little bit. Like when I learned who I was as an erotic being, it was so different to what I thought I should be as a person, as a woman in this world, and that it was really surprising for me. Like, what? Is it possible? Is it part of we have no idea. The range of possibilities in this field of erotic expression is so big that we know only a little part of it. And that's why I say, when people think that they have to be a certain way, sexual being, like it's supposed to be in the society, you have to put so much effort in order to appear like that, in order to make it look like that, in order for, even when you are with a partner, like there's a performance like pressure, right? Like to be a certain way and to express it in a certain way and do certain techniques, maybe even because you learned some techniques that are cool and, are like supposed to make, have good results. So you really want to, show. And so this is a part. It's not the only part. But I think when you are deeply in contact and knowing you as an erotic being, you have a natural flow that is coming from you. And this natural flow is this is what I'm talking about when you feel really good, because you get more energy out of it than you use it.
So tell me a little bit more about these erotic blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit more, because it made me feel like curious.
Yes, I hope that people are curious. Are you curious? You want to know? Yeah. So this is a very interesting story that I'm going to tell through the story of Jaya and Ayan, who are the one who have developed this blueprint. I've learned from her. She's an amazing mentor. She was the coach of Tony Robbins. She's featured in the documentary Sex, Love and Goop on Netflix, which I recommend everybody to watch because it's very good. So I learned from her. I've studied with her. I've learned, and I've become a coach, a licensed erotic blueprint coach, because I was so passionate and convinced of this thing. And this is the following. The story was like these two people, they were so in love with each other. They had a son together, and they really wanted it to work. And I would tell you their stories, but it's a story that can be also the story of many other people in the different kind of relation. But she was very interested in having sex or physical contact with him. And she would approach him by putting her hand on his genitals or wanting to have aggressive, like this kind of direct contact. Which for him, who is another blueprint, was very surprising. And he felt like, what's going on? Like, I'm washing the dishes. What does she want? Or like, what? How can she come to this thing? But we were like we are in everyday life. We are busy with things. And then she had this thing. And like, how did she come to that? And so many stories, it's the opposite way. Like the man is doing that to the women. But in their case, it was the opposite. And so at night, she would go into the bed and roll to him and try to get sex from him. And he was like, oh, I'm too tired. I'm not in the mood. And because for him, it was difficult to switch from the everyday life to this. And the way she approached it, the way she wanted it, it was not his way to get aroused, to get to this, desire, right? So they were approaching each other in this way, like she was talking Chinese and he was speaking only Italian. Like they didn't understand each other. It was kind of two different languages. And so it was super frustrating because, and sometimes he would want sex at the moment where she was like also, he would approach her by wanting to do massage and long cuddles and want to take time to take a bath and like really have like set the scene with little candles and something nice, and she was like, can't be bothered, right? Why all this, why do we need all this? Right? Like, let's go to the core of the story. So just to tell you as an example of this mismatch of way, and so it could, if you're going to look at it from a very superficial point of view, you could say that she wanted more sex than him, and he didn't want so much. But in the reality, it's not really. So the superficial was like there's a mismatch in libido. One wants more than the other. But in reality, and that's what they discovered, is that they have different erotic blueprint. Their blueprint is different. They have a different way to be wired to pleasure and to the, I would say eros, like the erotic. The erotic. The world of eros it was a different way to approach it for each of them. So to tell you, she was more sexual and also energetic a little bit, but her main blueprint was sexual. And his main blueprint was sensual and kinky. So I'm going to talk about the different blueprints.
So that's those those kinky and sensual are kind of blueprints.
Yes.
Isn't it? Okay.
So I want to tell you, I'm going to start with sexual, because sexual is the most common blueprint that is expressed in the world in terms of media, porn. Porn movies are made for sexual blueprints.
Okay, just the sex blueprints is
Sexual.
Sexual blueprints is the kind of person who like to be this kind of actors, isn't it?
Yes.
Like have those experience in the intimacy.
The sexual blueprint, to say the detail, is somebody who likes to have direct contact with sex, like somebody who goes from 0 to 60 in just a second, like from this to that, like no transition needed.
Okay, yeah.
No preliminary needed, like no like foreplay, like
Okay.
directly. It's somebody who is aroused by nudity, naked bodies. Naked bodies is very arousing for the sexual blueprint. So of course watching porn is is perfect for this blueprint, because it corresponds to them. Porn is another issue that I'm not going to talk about, but it causes a lot of damage in other ways. But just to give an example of that, how it works. So sexual blueprints are people who like to talk dirty talk. They are like direct. Yes.
Yeah.
Go for the genitals. Go for
Just
buoys and like go directly,
go
to the point directly, right? So we tend to think that that's a big thing. Like we tend to think that it's the way to be sexual, because it's like we see it. It's like we see it.
Yes,
we hear
it's
it.
how you say in the beginning. So it's the main approach that we have.
Yeah.
Through all, or
it's our media, it's our culture, like the way it is expressed. So, but there are four other blueprints that are different than that.
Yeah, I also want to ask you for each one, because I feel curious. But before to pass there, so would you say then the most part of the world is this kind of blueprint, sexual blueprint? Because it's what we saw generally, and is how the people have the expectation to be sexy, or to be, for example, all these OnlyFans things, and these websites, platforms. So stimulate that blueprint. So would you say then most world is that kind of blueprint, or they has been driven to that kind of blueprint?
Exactly, the second one.
So
statistically, I don't remember the exact numbers. I think Jaya was doing a kind of statistic at one point with all the people who were, because there is a quiz you can take in order to determine your blueprint. I'm going to give you the thing. But it's not the most common blueprint.
It's not most common blueprint.
That's why I say we have 4 or 5 blueprints. And it's only one of them.
So we are faking the world with that.
That is the problem. You see that? I mean, it's like so the porn and everything, they do something with our brain, which it stimulates dopamine and makes you feel like an addiction.
Yeah.
Because you get satisfaction and you get addiction. So you can be maybe liking to watch porn, and being porn doesn't mean you're a sexual blueprint. Yeah. So that's another little issue that we cannot talk in detail now, but you're right, like it's like a costume, and many people who are not in themselves, who in reality sexual, they act as if they are taking on a kind of costume.
So would you say that that's one of the main problems in the couples, in the relationships, having those expectations from intimacy life with those behaviors, and not being satisfied? Do you think that's the problem of why the people go with you and can you help me with this?
Yeah, I wish more people would come to me or other coaches that are there in the world, because yes, the main issue is that you don't know who you are. as an erotic being, we don't know who we are. And so we think we should be a certain way, we behave this way, and then we don't get results. Like maybe women are not orgasmic, they don't have orgasm, or very, very not very satisfying orgasms. Men feel like their partner don't like sex with them, or some men just also have problem with erection and other problems because that's not their way, their blueprint. So it's a big issue, it's a big problem.
So okay, that's very interesting. So based on these blueprints would be the reason why the men have erection problems.
No.
I mean, like, well,
yeah, there are some medical issues, hormonal issues.
Yeah,
there
but it will be one of.
But it could be one of them.
It
could be one of them that can be really easily, not easily, but if you work with somebody, or if you start to learn about the blueprint, and if you start to work on yourself and discover really who you are, you can totally erase this problem. I don't say that's the only reason. Like, again, there are some medical issues that has to be taken care of, like diagnostic. Yeah, exactly. But a lot of erectile dysfunction can totally change if you start to know what your blueprint is. Because, as I will explain to you now, explaining the different blueprint, if you're a sensual person, whatever your sexual identity is, if you're a sensual person, or if you are energetic blueprint, like I'm talking about blueprints again, because sensuality means something different in the world, but a sensual erotic blueprint, energetic erotic blueprint person, when they have such a different way to be aroused, to get to the arousal, to feel their sexual energy, to express their sexual energy, to let this energy unfold and expand and grow, that it's the way the sexual goes about it is not going to work for them. So if they try to be that, they will not have an orgasm, or they will not have an erection, or it will not work like very well.
Yeah,
it's not impossible, you can have, but it's not going to be the best experience.
Yeah, I'm watching the big picture in my head, like, because I'm very interested in this topic as well, in a psychological aspect and social aspect. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I know that's not your expertise area.
Yeah.
But looking or watching the big picture makes me wonder is this lack of knowledge of ourselves then drive us to be cheat our partners, because sometimes, I mean, like, this is just coming, probably that's why you can feel more attraction by other people, because the person who you choose is not giving this it's not making match. Because also, I'm telling you this because I'm trying to see the big picture and retaking that 70% of women are looking for a coach, and the third percent is the man. So makes me wonder what we are doing. That's probably the reason why we are so disconnected, as in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So makes me, I don't know, makes me feel curious, because that's why we are here, because we talk a little bit about this out of the cameras.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me feel, it makes sense for me. That makes sense for me, because when you start to talk to me about these different ways to explore your sensual or intimacy life, your intimacy self,
mm-hmm.
you start to understand why sometimes you feel more attraction for certain people and you feel more, this behavior. So I'm telling you this because I'm also, as I told you, I'm interested in this aspect in psychological behavior, how this impact our psychology or way of think or mindset. But I would like to hear more about the other kind of blueprints and how they are connected with this, situation that we have.
Yeah, sure. So it's very interesting. I just reply to what you just said, like about the psychological aspect. I think that the blueprints, it's a blueprint. It's something that is influencing your psychology. Okay. I think it's the other way around. Okay. In my view, this may be wrong, but it's just what I experience, or what I feel is like who you are as a being is going to make you look at things a certain way. Like you said, be attracted to certain people, or maybe the blueprints, the erotic blueprints, in my view, is the way you are in the world. It's not only the way you are in the bedroom. You can also observe people when you learn about this. This is really fun. Okay. Is to determine people blueprints, right? And so you can observe the way people are in the world, and then you can usually infer, like guess what their blueprints are or is, because it's informing how you behave, how you show up, how you dress, how you talk, how you interact, how you touch, how you take a glass of wine or water, and how you handle it. It's like all the ways. So these are little things you can observe in order to determine a blueprint. But
behaviors
in general, I want to say, apart from this, is it has a lot. That's what I'm observing, because I've been doing this work for a number of years now. That when you know your blueprint, or when you see how much it influences the way you are in the world, like the way you do business, maybe the way you talk, the way you do a speech, the way you it would be a lot of that.
Yeah, is look the people with a different filter,
right?
Yeah, and when you say then that's it's the way how do you behave in the world, how do you behave. It makes sense. That's what I'm curious about these blueprints, because it can for me can help me to understand better this situation, because so please there is 5 kind of blueprints. So the sensual is the most common. I'm telling you common because it's the way how we perceive or how we get the sex education.
Exactly.
But it's not, as you say, is in fact is the less common.
It's not statistically the most important of the blueprints. So people can be sexual, that we talked about, but they could be also sensual. The sensual blueprint is a person that is aroused by the senses.
Okay.
The 5 different senses.
Smell, wash,
the sense of aesthetics, the visual. So, for example, they liked the sensual person wanting to engage in a sexual intimacy, something. They need nice surroundings. They need to make things nice around them. They like to put candles so that sometimes it smells also good. So the sense of smell, the sense of like the vision, they want to put some nice music or some nice background sounds. Like when it talks to their senses, they feel more inclined to engage into this kind of this physical connection, the sexual connection. So it's important for the sensual to engage the senses. So also the smell, the taste, like maybe something tastes very nice, like flavored something like condoms, or I don't know, or I say that, but it could be something just also eating fruits together, playing with fruits. This is also somebody like the sensual blueprint loves massage, like long sessions of touching the body, cuddling, massage, touching the skin. The sensual blueprint is also the blueprint that needs to toggle from the everyday life to the sensual part. So they need an activity or something that would switch them from the routine every day, you know, taking care of the house, taking care of children, taking care of things, working, whatever, to now we are getting into like a vibe.
I have a question. Is this the blueprints are something that is how I can say this is something like it can be changed, for example. So if you are sexual and then you realize and I'm also more attracted by sensual, and you know, can this is this possible? Is this common? I think it's possible. I mean, everything is possible. But is this common, or is just?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I'm remembering the story of Erika and Damon in this documentary on Netflix I was mentioning before, Sex, Love, and Goop. It's a Gwyneth Paltrow, the actress, Hollywood actress. She created this documentary, and it's very, very good. And you see different couples being coached by coaches, and one of them is being coached by Jaya and Ian. And the man of this couple, he appears to be sexual. He answers the blueprint question with, like, probably his blueprint, like mentally, he was thinking of himself as a sexual blueprint. But when they started to do the other activities, which, you know, I do with my clients also, like to discover their body and how their body responds, they discovered that he was also energetic.
So you give them exercise to... you know, to explore themselves.
I do with them, and I can do it with your audience because we have a video. I can show you like the different type of touch that are usually corresponding to the different blueprints. Something very PG, something everybody can watch.
I'm not sure if I want to do that.
No, it's not going to be dangerous.
It will be too much, but I don't know.
No, nothing dangerous, but like, for example, the touch that is very the sensual touch is this kind of touch, the enveloping touch, like with the whole hand. Like the hand taking the skin. This is the more sensual. So you can try it on yourself and see if that's something you like. All right. So sensual. This is the essence of this sensual. There's so much more to say and to express because each blueprint, they have their shadow aspects and their superpower aspects.
Okay, so there are polarity on each one.
Because a polarity is this way, and I'm going to answer your question a little bit more about the way if blueprint can be changed or not. But what is important to know is that sometimes your erotic expression can be in the shadow. That means instead of being really expressed and happy, expanded, and yes, it's in the shadow. Okay. So because it has not been listened to, it has not been developed, it has not been seen, and it's coming into a shadow kind of. So for example, the central shadow, I'm going to give you one, is you can see that your blueprint is central when from this negative aspect is the one that you feel you're in your head. Like you're starting to have a connection, like a physical encounter with somebody. You're starting to become physical, and then you start to think about your dinner or the kids that you have to do this and this, and the to-do list of the day, or you start to be in your head. Yeah. That's usually not only, but it's usually a central shadow. That's a sign of the central blueprint being in the shadow. For this person.
Okay, so let me see if I get it. When the blueprint is trying to express itself, but it's not being expressed, is when you bring that part of you to the shadow and start to miss the present, to be in the moment, and
for example,
think about the to-do list of tomorrow.
And each of the blueprints, they have their shadows. Each of them. And sometimes we, as an erotic being, we get stuck in the shadows. We are stuck in the shadows. Instead of being in the light of our life, being like, woo, like we said before, like, oh yes,
Okay.
life is great. Like,
Okay.
woo, give me more. We are in the kind of like the shadow of things. And so each blueprint has shadows. And so once you get to know this work, you start to know how to overcome these shadows and how to change that and how to access more. The more you access your blueprint and the less shadow you will have, the more it will be in the light and you will feel fed. Like it's like you're starving. Like imagine yourself like an erotic being that has not been fed all this time.
Yeah.
It starts to become like collapsing into itself.
Yeah, like okay.
like a
Turn it
plant
off,
that has
turn
not
it
been
off,
watered,
like, turn it down, like,
right? Withered, like a plant.
Make it smaller. Yeah, well,
you don't,
dying.
Yeah, you don't give the water to the plant; they start to become atrophied.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. That can happen. So that's how you can spot the central. There are more things, but this is one of them. So you want me to tell you about the other blueprints? Or do you have...
For sure,
yes?
yeah. Totally.
Like I want to give an overview. I don't want to
Totally.
spend too much time because there's so much to say for each blueprint. But we don't want to do a masterclass now. We just want to give an overview.
Yeah.
So the other blueprint is the energetic blueprint.
Okay.
And that's an interesting one because this is the least known, the one that less people know about, the least known of the blueprint.
Let's know it.
Because it's right. What is energetic? People sometimes ask me, energetic means somebody who is very, very active.
Yeah, that's what my first thought when you say energetic. Like, go to the point,
like you drink too much coffee and like,
yeah.
I'm energetic. No, it's not that. It's not like you drank too much coffee. It's like your language, erotic language, like we said, like different languages, Chinese, Italian. Your erotic language is energy. Energy. So movement of energy, like feeling the energy of the person. So the energetic blueprint person is usually a person that is a little bit more quiet, that likes to observe first, that likes to have their own space, to not be, for example, the sexual blueprint, this energetic person would normally jump if you want to hug them and they are not ready. They're like feeling like they want to go backwards like this. You've seen some people doing that. I mean, you want to hug them and they feel like you are going too close to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the energetic blueprint. And their way of being aroused is through anticipation and tease. So anticipation and tease means the blueprint likes, coming close and then going away, withdraw, like, approaching and then taking more space. Like actually the slow pace, but also silence, like looking at each other in the eyes, spending time connecting with the person, with the heart, feeling their presence. They need these aspects in order for them to engage in their erotic realm. So imagine a person who is sexual, that like the example I gave of Jaya and Ian, the couple, like she wanted to have sex and engage and then going for the genitals and like surprising him. He was like, oh, okay,
what's going on? Yeah.
But like, okay, maybe the wrong example also because she's also energetic. But energetic is this, and anticipation and tease is the main aspects. Anticipation means somebody likes, for example, to know that you're going to meet your lover and wait for them, and imagine like giving the little messages during the day when you're going to have a date, and like, what are you going to wear, and what is going, like, how I look forward to see you later. Like they imagine the scene already in the head, like There's a lot of this anticipation energy, this tease
So
energy.
they create the movie already in their head.
Yeah, they
before
like
to have
they
the
like
experience.
to think about it, like to tease, like a fire. You know, the fire that you want to tease with some when you put like air in the fire so that the fire grows.
To let it grow.
Yes, like
To make it grow.
energetic. They need this fire. They need this air. They need the.
Okay, they imagine.
Imagining, like giving little messages, and so if you are with a partner that you think is energetic, or you're yourself energetic, you have to give yourself this space. You have to give yourself like the kind of touch the energetic likes is a very feather-like touch, like very
Just
like a
tips.
feather, like the tips, like or
The
the other touch is really the touch just a few millimeters above the skin, so you feel the warmth of the person. You or your own body. If you do it to yourself, you can feel energy.
Okay, come on, like in the shower.
So yeah, the difference between sensual would be this kind of touch. Energetic would be this kind
just
of
with
touch.
the tips, like this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this energetic shadow, because I told about the sensual shadow, I can say the energetic shadow is a little bit this tendency to think that their way of doing things. So energetic people are attracted to Tantra, for example. They are attracted to this kind of practices because it involves breath, energy, moving in the body, different aspects that are...
I want to just... Sure.
So, I'm just thinking about, like, just one thing I want to say that... So they tend to think that their way of doing is superior. That the way of, like, the sex that they think about, like, is the pure thing, is the most expressed way.
Tantra.
Like the energetic, the way to use energy as a way. So it can be through Tantra, it can be through different things, but usually people are attracted to this kind of thing. Some people are energetic and they've never done Tantra in their life. It's nothing to do. But just say, like, usually these are the people attracted to yoga, to Reiki, to Tantra, because that's their expression. They love energy work. They love to be in touch with energy, to move energy, and even if they don't know they can do it, even if they don't know they can do it, even if they haven't done anything, like this guy in the documentary, Damon, they're discovering this blueprint in front of the camera, and he has never done anything in this. And when he starts to be touched in this way and experience the energetic way, he's totally, his body is shivering, he has like this spasm, and he has a lot of things going on for him. It took him a while to think, well, I don't know what's happening to me. It's like so strange. Like, it feels really, for people who don't know anything about this kind of thing, it's like very surprising the way it can show for you in your body, right?
I mean, like, I want to do a small parenthesis because we are in the second blueprint, isn't it? No, the third one, right? Sexual, sensual, and energetic.
Yes.
Isn't it? Okay. This small parenthesis is just a little bit bringing back to the beginning when you was talking about this orgasmic energy. Is this the same than Tantra, or is it a different thing?
Okay, it's a good question. Tantra is a specific method. It's a specific modality to work with erotic energy. It's a specific modality. The Tantra originally comes from India. Mm-hmm. It comes from a certain tradition that has several thousand years old. It's not new. It's not new age. It's an old tradition. It's rooted in the Hinduistic culture and religion. So it's about Shiva and Shakti, the union of the feminine and masculine, and it's about different. And now the way Tantra is being practiced in the world, because it's not only in India anymore, it's all over the world. Yeah. And it's modern. It's been modernized. It's been arranged. It's been changed. It's been whatever. Like it's
it's something.
It's a tradition that has been
is accessible to the people now. No?
It's been changed. it's more
Yeah,
accessible.
sorry, okay.
Anyway, so Tantra is a very specific way to. So there are different now. The way it is practiced, I'm going to tell that way. The way it is practiced now is a lot of work with the breath, using their breath work, different techniques of breathing. It's using couple exercises, different way to move the energy and to connect the energy with the other person. So there are many different ways, and some Tantra practices are not sexual, and some Tantra practices are more erotic and sexual practices.
Okay.
So it's not only, So to respond to your question, I think it's not. This is a specific way of doing it. So what I mean is the erotic blueprint and what we do in the work, and even if we discover the energetic blueprint, it's not only Tantra. It's more than that. Tantra is just one of the techniques, one of the modalities that is available. That I think for energetic is interesting to practice.
My question was oriented to the energy, the life energy, the vital. Vital energy.
Yeah, vital energy.
Vital energy. Awakened for the orgasmic energy. That's what I was wondering about. If the Tantra and this orgasmic energy that you was talking about is the same, because Tantra, until I know, because I'm very like I don't know a lot about Tantra. I the same as you, is like very. I just know the surface, and I know it's some kind of exercise and breathe, but I don't know anything.
Right.
But what I know, one of the purpose of Tantra is awake this energy that you was talking about, to make you feel more vigorized as men, more vigorized, more energy, more like expand this feeling to outside. Well, not 2 hours.
So I'm just going to, it's true. It's how it is described in most ways. For me, again, it's not the only way to do it.
Okay.
But it's something that is available to work on that. And I want to say something important. It's like some people have been told, like, if you want to do some more sex work and you want to reconnect with your partner, do Tantra. Because that's what people are told to do in order for them to spice or to change a little bit the way they do their life and sex life and so on. So I just want to say, it's definitely one thing that is available, but I just want to say there is more than that available, because some people also feel bad, because I met these people because they told me, like, because they don't like it. They don't feel attracted to it. They don't feel like it's their language they want us to use in order for them to advance or to feel more fulfilled. They don't feel like, it's not working for me. I'm not really interested in that. So it's not to say that it's not good. I just want to give people the chance, if they don't feel attracted to it, that they don't feel bad about it, because there's more things available.
Yeah, because that concept, or I don't know how to call it, technique or knowledge about erotic blueprints is totally new for me. And that's why I felt interested to do this. Because so it's for me is a very very good way to classify and separate your kind of personality, intimacy personality, erotic personality. Well, but so that we close the parentheses. Sorry. Okay. So let's go back to the blueprints now.
All right.
So we talk about sexual, sensual, energetic.
Yes.
There's 5, right? So what's the other one?
Yes. So the 2 other ones are kinky and shapeshifter. So I'm going to talk maybe kinky now.
Okay.
Kinky is another set of erotic energies and things that are existing in the world. So kinky means somebody who is attracted to this, or this kind of blueprint is somebody who is attracted to breaking taboos, to pushing the boundaries, to go to the edges. So taboo is a very subjective thing. For me, what is taboo, it might be something else than for you. What is
it's
taboo?
Related to the culture, to the perception.
To the perception.
Yeah,
for some people, doggy style is taboo. For other people, taboo is something else, like blood play or something else, like extreme things. So kink is a very wide range of practices and expressions. The most common, like we could say, divided in two parts: the sensation-based kink and the psychological-based kink. So sensation-based kink is impact play, which we call impact play, which flogging, spanking, scratching, biting, using different accessories like floggers or different types of things you can use, like
related more to the corporal sensations.
Exactly, shibari, bondage, or restraints, or so this is more so like this part, like impact play. And the psychological part of kink is dominance and submissive. So somebody is dominant, the other person is more submissive, or top and bottom. Like there is like a power dynamic play.
Yeah.
So that's the base. So people think BDSM, 50 Shades of Grey, all these examples of what usually people associate to kink. And
so those are good.
So kink is difficult in the sense that people who are kink, sometimes they know and they have expressed it, and they have different practices and they know it, and some people do not know they are kink.
Actually, I mean that. I have a question. I don't know if you can answer me this question. Because as I can see, kinky is more close to the perversion.
The what?
Perversion. Subjectively, because for that kind of
it's the way it's been judged by society. For example, religion. Culture.
No, in general.
So because the culture and the religion are the standard, determines like a kind of mainstream, like how it's supposed to be. Like if we take religion, is a really big issue in the sex education because it makes people feel bad about themselves sometimes. I don't say everybody, I mean, it's not that, but in a lot of cases, education and religion comes to make you feel like what you are attracted to is a perversion, is something bad, is something wrong, is something to be ashamed of, is something like, and that's why for so many people, this kind of expression, this blueprint expression is hidden to themselves. It's like
the shadow
put inside of them. The shadow of the kink is shame. The shame. Because the big thing is to feel ashamed, like a shame of your own fantasy. Like people who are oriented to kink, they have a lot of fantasies. They love to imagine scenes and imagine situations, people with lots of imagination and would like to have sex expression, which is very much with linked to imagination, and it's a whole world. And because of that, I'd have a client lately, we discovered she was kinky and she didn't know it. And she was just feeling unfulfilled in her sex life, and she didn't know why, because her husband, they love each other, they have 3 kids, they work together, they are very supportive of each other, they are very connected, they communicate a lot, but somehow because she didn't even know who she was, and she didn't even know it existed, she didn't even know it was in her. So for her, it was just like everything was kind of dull, like boring, but she didn't know why she felt like that. She just felt bored, and then a little bit of shame. She had fantasies, and she didn't know how to tell her husband about it because it felt so different So, like you say, pervert, because that's the judgment of society.
Yeah.
It's a judgment that has been ingrained in you. And so you feel like you don't even allow to tell because you're afraid your partner will leave or will hate, will don't love you anymore, will not love you anymore, or will, be shocked by you. You're afraid of losing the person, so you don't express it. And so this goes into a deep layer of underground. And sometimes it's underground on the surface, and sometimes it's deep down, and you don't even know anything about it unless you start to do this kind of work, this kind of coaching, this kind of exercises and things we do in order to discover who you are really.
I mean, probably this will be part of your coaching work, but I would like to ask you what kind of works or what kind of exercise can make a person who is kinky to discover if he is kinky.
Okay, so I'm not going to reveal all my secrets.
No, it's okay. That's what I'm going to tell you.
What I can tell you, there are two things you can do after this podcast. If you listen, you can do the quiz to determine your erotic blueprint. And you can do these little things with your body. So I told you about this different touch. So the kinky touch would be to try different things on your body and try to scratch. Take your dominant hand and take your other arm as a field play, and then try it on yourself. Like try to scratch, try to spank, try to pinch, try different things and see if it feels good for you. And the other thing is the impact play. The other thing is to imagine that somebody is giving you instructions and that you have to follow these instructions, or you give instructions to somebody, because you can be more dominant or you can be more submissive if you are playing with the power dynamics. So there are some little things to be done with you and your body to feel inside of you. Is it something that you're attracted to or not? But I want to tell you that because of this blueprint, as I said, is so deep down underneath, it's sometimes not accessible to your mind. So even if some people can be deeply kinky in their erotic core, but because they judge it, because they have these layers of shame and judgment, then they will not go there. They will say, no, I'm not interested in that. Usually, if you are really resistant to it, it's a sign that maybe you should look at it, because sometimes our psyche works like that. At the one we resist the most is usually give us an indication.
Yeah, that's psychology.
But it doesn't mean that necessarily. I just say it's interesting to inquire. So this is part of what the coaching work is doing, is to unfold these deeper layers and to find out, to take away the blockages and find out with you what is really true for you. But
I ask you for that. I know that's what I told you. Then probably that's part of your work as a coach. But I ask you specifically for this blueprint because it's potentially dangerous for someone who is, for me, I mean, I'm trying to be empathic if I were a kinky person. I feel like I have a side, kinky side. But well, what I want to express is I think it's potentially, it will be potentially dangerous because it's more close to those limits, to those boundaries.
Okay.
And I ask you this, specifically for this blueprint, to find a healthy way to discover this side of you.
So this is a whole area of work that I love to do. I love to also, this is one of their specialties that I have. Like I did an extra training for that. Also, it's to be able to accompany to people who want to discover that, to exactly feel safe, secure, and discover it step by step so that they don't feel overwhelmed. Because the problem with everything, not just with kink, but anything, any sexual activity that we do, we sometimes, when we overstep, when we go too far, we overwhelm our nervous system. Our nervous system needs to be regulated in order to function, in order to be well. You need to regulate your nervous system. So what we can do, what can happen, like you said, it can be dangerous in the sense of you dysregulate your system. You make it overwhelmed, right? So in order to do that, you need to set up a container of safety, of consent. You have to do certain things, certain steps, in order for the nervous system of the person concerned, involved in the activity, to feel safe. This is the most important thing. And it's the condition so that even if you engage in more extreme activities that involve impact, that involve power dynamics, power play, that can be so triggering for people also, that can trigger trauma, that can trigger things like it can happen something in your nervous system. So you need to make sure, like, for example, some of the things. If you watch 50 Shades of Grey, it's pretty well done.
What?
Well done. In 50 Shades of Grey, you see the Christian Grey, the main character, giving a contract to this woman, giving her all the different practices and asking her if she's okay with that, if she's okay with that. So they are creating a container of consent, like what is okay, what is not okay. And she's saying like, oh no, this is no way, this is okay, this is okay, this is no way. And so she gives communication. Yeah. So there is some things like that, like a communication checklist, which is one of the tools that we use also for the coaching, is to reveal the areas. Also, what you can use is a safe word. Some of these things are practices that are more common or known now, but like a safe word is a very important thing also, to be able to know, to say to the person, okay, this is going too far. We want to go one step down, or I need a pause now.
Okay, yeah.
Instead of
set your boundaries.
Right. So safe words are very good, and exploring this with creating a consent container, very clear for the people, so it makes them both feel, okay, we can go there in a safe way. We're not going to put ourselves in danger or the other person in danger, because if you want to engage with a person with something intense, you want to make sure that, you don't want to ask every 2 minutes, like, is it okay? Is it okay? You need to check, but you need to have like a certain framework that then you can be with this person, and the safe word is really useful, so you don't have to worry about what's happening for the person. The person has something where she can indicate to you in a very elegant way without stopping the sexual energy thing. It's like indicating, okay, we need to pause, we need to step down, or we need to stop completely, and I need to recoup, right?
Yeah, I get it.
It's very important things that people sometimes overlook because they want to just experiment. And you're right to ask these questions about the safety, because if you don't look at this, you create situations where it's not safe. Even if you're very experienced, but if you don't create a container, a very clear, transparent, negotiated, take your time with your partner to negotiate the container, then you create really the safety. If you don't do that, you don't create the safety. So it might be like going, and then suddenly it's like
out of control.
Yeah, somebody feels really bad, and so it can be potentially disrupting for people.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Immediately when you say this kind of person is, I can. That's what it came to me.
Yeah.
And
so please don't engage into this activity without establishing a consent with the person first with whom you are. Take time to talk. Take time to determine things beforehand. Create a safe space so that both people, because
for sure.
It's like in both ways. It goes both ways. Feel like they have a playground where they can experiment, and they can have fun, because it's the purpose to have fun. feel more energy at the end of the day than you use it, right? So
yeah, sounds great. So, well, what will be the fifth one?
The fifth one is the shapeshifter.
Okay.
Shapeshifter means you change your form. So the shapeshifter blueprint is a very specific blueprint that is the main essence of it is they want everything. The shapeshifter is, you can describe it, I want it all. I want it all. And this is the person who really loves to engage in sexual activity and can do it for hours and days. And it's just the expression for them is so diverse. So shapeshifter means you can change shape. So the ability of the shapeshifter is it can take the shape, or if your partner is sensual, you become sensual. If your partner is energetic, you become energetic. Your partner is sexual, you become sexual. So for example, shapeshifter, because they potentially love sex. If they are in the superpower, they love it. Okay. They can be with a sexual, but if they stay only with this only language, they need the multi-language. They need several languages.
Yeah.
They need to engage with you. It can be with one partner. It doesn't have to be several partners. It can be one, but it has to be different. It has to be like modulated. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. It's a mix of everything. It's like the firework. You can imagine the last part of the firework when everything, the ending of the firework. That's what these shapeshifter are. They won't.
This is very interesting. I mean, like I would think as the shifter it will be like the perfect lover.
Yes, in a way it can be. So also, I just want to say there was also shadow. The shapeshifter is the most. Again, I'm going to say something. Maybe I don't know if Jaya would agree with me, but I would say, in my opinion, is the one blueprint that has the more chance to be in the shadow. Because of all of this. Because it's the shapeshifter shadow, main shadow, is to feel they are too much. Too much. So they are afraid of that. They are afraid of being too much. They are afraid of overwhelming their partners. They are afraid of asking too much. They're afraid to say, is it already finished? We just started? Like, why are we stopping now? Like, it should continue now. It's like, just why? Like, it's like, So the shapeshifter is potentially like jackpot lover if you are expressed in your ability. So the problem of the shapeshifter is that it can go into the shadow of all the blueprints. So it can go into the shadow of sensual, the shadow of the energetic, the shadow of this. Sometimes the person that has the potential to be an exceptional lover is actually the one that is not sexual, is not having any sexual activity because they think they are too much, or they think they are bored because for them it's boring to be only doing this one thing. They need they need the different elements, the creativity, the change, the coming from one to the other. So potentially they can be also stuck into one of the shadows, like sensual shadows. Sometimes they are stuck in the energetic shadow. They are stuck in the. We didn't talk about the sexual shadow, but there's also
actually that was my next question.
If you have listened very carefully until now, there is something we didn't talk about, sexual shadow.
That was my next question. Can you tell me what's the shadow from each blueprint?
Okay, so I repeat, but I don't want to say that it's the only shadow, and I don't want to say also it's always a shadow.
Okay.
It's depends on the person. Yeah. Sometimes you don't have any shadow, so you just have fun and enjoy your life. Don't worry. But if you feel this kind of diagnostic, like I'm talking about, then don't feel bad about it. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you haven't had your feed. You didn't have enough of your own erotic blueprint to be able to express. That's why I want to say to the world: don't think you are broken. Don't think you are wrong. It's just if you know these things, you will understand that you you're okay. You actually have superpowers that are waiting to be awakened.
Actually, well, just before then, you answered me this question about the
Yeah,
shadows.
sexual shadow. I'm going to tell you.
So I was also curious because would you say I can perceive it is it could be one way to recover the lack of trust in ourselves, you know,
Yeah.
like on explored area.
Yeah.
Will be this a way to recover the confidence in us in this life, in this aspect of the life, through knowing what kind of blueprint we are?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this gives you so much confidence that you can. That's my case. I was not knowing the erotic blueprint like some years ago, and I started 10 years ago to work with Jaya. And I became a coach 4 years ago, like a licensed, trained coach. Like we have an extensive training, it's very well made, well known. And so before that, I didn't know. I was just like unaware of anything. But since I started this work, I've become so confident now. Like I know who I am. I know what my partner is usually. I have a good understanding of the person I'm encountering. So I can even know what my lover is as a blueprint before I even sleep with them. So it's a big advantage.
Yeah, well,
I have a big advantage. I have to
yeah,
say.
it's like you having like like
You know the partner, so you know what they would like to hear. You know what they would like to be done. You know what it's a great capacity to have, right? If you want to be, to enjoy this part of life.
Yeah, because I see, I can not really, sorry, I can understand that this is it could be a very like it could be bring us a lot of light about the personal develop, because connected the lack of the personal develop with the shadow of each blueprint, probably we can start to develop more, identifying why we have these feelings, which is the shadow of this behavior.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm interested now to know, the potential shadows from each kind of blueprint.
So I want to say they are potential shadows and potential superpowers. It's very important to see the both aspects. Because you have to see. So I'm going to try and not be too long. So sensual blueprint. Let's start with sexual, because we started with sexual before. The sexual blueprint.
Okay.
The shadow is the tendency to want to have orgasm. Like the aim, the purpose, the goal is so important that the rest is like, it has to go. It has to go to the orgasm. Like my partner has to have an orgasm. I have to have an orgasm. Like it has to be kind of it's a pressure.
Okay.
It's the pressure of wanting to go to there.
Okay.
So this is a shadow because, of course, in the interaction, it can be so much more, and it can not be about orgasm. It can be about pleasure, which is another part of the coaching also, to really focus on pleasure, and not on having a final orgasm as the goal.
Okay.
So when you get away from the goal, you have the whole journey to enjoy. Yeah. So anyway, shadow, superpower of the sexual. But they can go from 0 to 60, like, whoa. You don't need to do much. Like, you could, like, let's go for a quickie, and they are very easy lovers. Like, they don't need much to get going. Both men and women. It doesn't mean, like, sometimes we picture this blueprint being more the men, the more the But it's true that many men are sexual, or think they are sexual, or express themselves as sexual, which we said before is not always the case. But there are also women who are sexual. They are like. So
I think the mostly women are have that part because I don't know in my
maybe it's your experience.
exactly
That's
that's
sexual women.
you took the words from my mouth. In my
Yeah.
experience, probably that's why that's when the
Yeah.
women have this pleasure experience,
Right.
orgasm. They look more like radiant, more like smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Here.
like in both sides for
I
sure.
like that.
But
Yeah. So yeah, it's so anyway. So there's the superpower and the shadow of the sexual. You want me to go through the different
for
blueprint like
sure,
you wanted? Okay, so sensual is the superpower is the orgasmic energy comes from everything. You have a super capacity for orgasmic pleasure. I'm talking about orgasmic pleasure, right?
okay. So
Orgasmic pleasure. So
can you-
eating something. So you hear the people eating something. If they are sensual, they would say, they would make noises. Because when they eat something delicious,
Enjoy
they make
everything.
noises. They express it. Like, yes, they have a capacity for orgasmic pleasure, which is super great. Like all the senses and everything is involved, and they have the superpower of orgasmic pleasure. The energetic, their superpower is they can have orgasms without being touched. Like because they are energetic. So they have the superpower of, like you can see if you look at the Sex, Love and Goop, which I really recommend, you would see the practice of Jaya, like having an orgasm, energetic orgasm. It's like your body starts to move and shake, and the energy moves into your body. Yeah, there's like it's a whole training about this, but yeah,
Okay.
you can have orgasm without being touched. The energetic shadow is the kind of arrogance or the kind of superiority sometimes, that their way of doing things is better than the other, and they tend to not be open to other kinds of people. They think like, because people are in this blueprint usually, like I was energetic. I'm like my main was energetic first, so you tend to think of you as like, this is the best way to have sex. And the other ones are like primitive or something.
Basic.
It's a kind of judgment,
Yeah.
but it's that's the shadow. So when you're in the shadow, you tend to close yourself to the possibility of other things that can happen in your life. So the kinky, the shadow is the shame, the deep shame, and the fact that it's like you don't share your truth and to yourself and to other people. The superpower is that they have such an imagination they always have like new ideas. They are super creative. They love to explore. It's like you never get bored.
Okay.
Okay, so and then the fifth, if I'm not mistaken, is the
Yeah.
shapeshifter.
The fifth.
And I said the same kind of thing is the shadow and the superpower at the same time. So the shadow is that they get bored and caved in, or like they go into themselves and they withdraw because they think they are too much, and they think they are too much and nobody understands them. That's how they feel. That nobody can get them. I'm too different. Nobody gets me. The way I want to have sex, nobody gets me. So it's better I don't have sex, or I have sex but I'm bored. So they tend to disengage. So that's the shapeshifter shadow, and the shapeshifter superpower is the most exquisite, extraordinary lover expression that there is, because of all this capacity to speak all these different languages.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, imagine how it would be. Yeah, the perfect lover. So,
yeah,
honestly, Virginie, this has been very, very, very interesting conversation. I would like to start to close this because I'm still having on mind than the 70% of people who are looking for help, coaching, because it's a help at the end of the day, are women. And right now, the situation, this between this, I don't know how to say it, but these disagreements and these conflicts between, genders.
Yeah.
It seems, and this can be a very, very, very like helpful coaching for most people who are looking for find a balance, develop themselves, have develop their confidence, personal confidence. Because I can see, probably, I mean, like I'm speaking from my own perspective, and I can see how this can help to the people to be more confident. Because once then you know more about yourself, now you can manage yourself with more confidence. But what I want to say is drive your energy, drive your goals, so connect the rest, the other aspects from your life to this unsatisfied or misunderstood aspect. Because as I can see, I mean, it took me by surprise when you start to talk to me about this, because as you said, probably my sex education, and probably from the most people, is very like I don't know how to say, common, basic, average. And I'm not saying that that was my limit. I mean, like, that's why we're talking about this, because I mean, I don't know, I'm ignorant in so many ways, and I'm start to feel interested by this, because it seems a way to fit in a psychological aspect your behavior, as exactly as you say. You look the person with this filter, then all this knowledge that you have, and you start to see, oh, this person seems like energetic, or this seems like kinky, or this seems like a shifter. And that's a really helpful for people, because I would like to start to close this. I mean, would you say then a marriage has to be based, or what percentage will be based in this sexual aspect? I mean, like, probably you can tell me in your experience or your personal perspective, what would you say then how important is have clear this aspect of your own to have a healthy marriage? Because mostly of your clients are couples and women. Because guys, we are missing.
some women, they are looking for a partner and they want to know themselves. So this is a big part. And then there are some couples who want to have a long-lasting relationship, either in marriage or not. And I would say, what in my view is the great strength of this work is that whatever your blueprint is, you can make it work. So that's very powerful, because that's what happened to Jaya and Ian, who had completely opposite blueprints. Like, one was energetic and sexual, and the other one was sensual and kinky. Like, you cannot be more different. And they made it work, because by discovering this, you can build bridges. You can start to understand, create. There are some different techniques in this coaching where we learn how to do this, how to build bridges, how to communicate with each other in your blueprints, what this blueprint really means, how does it express yourself, how can you train. There are so many ways to do it so that it works. Because that's the thing. It's like this incompatibility, or you have to have the alchemy between the two, or Or some people go about their life saying everything is great in this relationship except the sex, so I leave the sex out of it. We just have mediocre kind of thing, and we leave it like that because the rest is good. And what I want to say is that you don't have to have it like mediocre or like both. You can have amazing, great, extraordinary sex with your partner who you're married to, even if you have different blueprints.
That's very like help hopeful for it brings hope, I think, for the couples, because in some point I thought, okay, if you are not compatible, I think you're not gonna make you're not gonna make it. Okay, so Virginie, as I was about to tell you, this has been a very interesting, instructive, and very like helpful conversation, because all this about all this kind of blueprints that we've been talking about is making me think about all these unknown aspects from myself, and I think everyone is wondering, right? Well, but I would like to ask you, just to close this podcast, would you say then, how important it is for a relationship, for a marriage, to be clear or to have clear this, what kind of blueprint they are, or these, desires that they have, to have a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship?
I think for me it's super important. It's paramount to this to work. And what I want to say, which is important, is even if you realize after doing all this that, wow, your partner and yourself, you have a different blueprints, it's always possible to make it work. It's like you knowing which language is your main language, and which your partner is your main language. Even if it's a different one, we can build bridges. You can learn how to better speak their blueprint, better speak your blueprint, better know yourself. They know themselves. So when we are less in the shadows and we are more in the light of who we are, there are so many more possibilities. And I've seen couples, I swear to you, this is one of my greatest joy, is to see people come to me and they feel disconnected. They feel like they don't know if it's going to work, because the sex is really not working, the physical part. And when they do this work, they discover themselves like they are new people. They fall in love with each other again.
Wow.
Like they really reconnect in such a way that like they didn't even imagine it was possible. Like this last couple, they discovered their blueprints and they were so different from what they knew or what was possible. One is energetic and the other one is kinky. It's so different, right? It's the blueprints you don't know about. And then they start to discover each other's blueprints, and they are so excited. They are so and they are so surprised also, like it's like, wow, this person is my wife or my husband, and I'm like, who is this? Wow, she's like
I've been married with a tiger and I thought it was a cat, right?
Yes, kind of thing like that. Yes, exactly.
So that makes me feel hope about this new topic for me. I mean, like, I never heard before about this before you. To the people, save their relationships, and also identify what kind of once that I identify my own blueprint, or we identify our profile, to use this filter then you talk to us about, then now, this person can be kinky, or this person can be sensual, and use that to choose whatever you want to experience, or
Yeah.
whatever you want to
That's
marriage in this case, right?
or if for single people also, you know, we're talking people that are listening, maybe you're married or you're in partnership and maybe you're single and you wonder how, you know, like you are looking for a partner maybe, and you are like wondering, you know, with people coming. And so, yeah, you can know before.
Yeah.
Before, I would say it's too late, but before you engage with them physically, you would have an idea of like the kind of stuff that this person probably would like to do. And it's not always like, yeah, you have to know this very well. You know, you have to practice it. You have to embody it, because it's not just a thinking in your mind. It's something you embody in your body.
Yeah.
It's important also. We didn't discuss that so much, but I just want to say this point is like the blueprint is an embodied practice. It's something in your body. It's not only something in your head.
Wow.
Like when we do work, like you work like to really understand how your body, and not only to understand, but feel it in your body, experience it in your body, have like experience different blueprints through your body. It's an embodied experience. It's important.
Wow, that's a very important thing that you say, because yeah, I think it's a mix for sure, but embody it is it will be like the key to discover what kind of blueprint is. So Virginie, thank you so much to be here in Playa Rocky. It has been a pleasure. Honestly, it has been very funny. As I told you, instructive and very, very, it bring me a lot of light about this topic, because it's kind of not taboo, but it's hard to talk about it, and it's hard to explore without a guide. And this coaching that you are offering, but definitely it will be a great guide, because I didn't took a coach as such, and I already start to discover certain things. Then I felt, I mean, like I felt it as a normal, as you said, and I said, oh, probably I'm I'm this person. But now with this new information, I'm looking the things with a different aspect, looking myself in with other eyes, and understanding why I like certain things and why I don't like these other things. So Virginie, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I just want to tell the people also, if you want to determine your blueprint, you're more curious, you can take the quiz. I will give you the link, and you will.
We will put
it in the video, in the script,
in media, and
so you can click it and you can take it. It takes a few minutes, and then you will have like already information about your blueprint. And the second thing you can do, if you're really serious about going deeper and finding out how it can work for you and your partner, or if you're looking for a partner and you want to discover yourself, I want to say also this: you don't have to have a partner to take a coaching. You can discover your blueprint, prepare yourself for the next adventures in your life, and you can be supported in all the processes that you're going through. You don't have to have a partner in order to do this work. It's like it's a different, like people sometimes think, oh, I don't have a partner, so it's not relevant for me. But
no, it does.
It's also relevant for you.
We've been talking about this knowledge of yourself, how help you in this in the personal development, in the personal growth, because it totally makes sense. Then you know it, what do you like, how it makes you feel, how do you enjoy this intimacy part of you. You definitely gonna open your mind and understand more about yourself, and understand more about, in this case, if you are with a couple, from your partner. But if not, as I said, to find the partner that you want to attract, or not attract, to be with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very helpful for me. Honestly, I'm very grateful for this conversation, Virginie.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. So please, because it's still going in my mind about these statistics. I feel disappointed for my, for these guys. What's up, guys? 70%, just 30% of men are looking for help. So it's important. I think it's very relevant to take that have that on mind. So please, guys, let's do the work. Let's do the homework. Here is Virginie to help us as men to discover ourselves. So Virginie, thank you so much. Would you like to say something else before to leave?
I'm really super happy, and I want to really encourage everybody to shift their mindset from what is wrong with me to the mindset of what can I discover, what can I learn, what else is available.
Yeah, 100%. So Virginie, thank you so much.
Yay.
With this, close this wonderful instructive podcast. Thank you so much to be here. And well, that has been everything from my part, from our part. And well, we will see you next time. Thank you so much to everyone who stayed until this point. And I hope you enjoyed it as I did. Okay, guys. So thanks so much to everyone. So see you next one.